Yeah, indeed, it does feel good here now up in the Garing field. The atmosphere soaking up nicely now. And, of course, Kevin McBride. And we also saw Paul Lawson earlier on. He was a very convincing winner as well. Two former Olympians on the bill. It's been very good stuff to watch. Now, as of course, Simon mentioned there, we had Corrie Sanders and Garing Lane coming up for you in a moment's time. We saw Ernie Els talking about his fellow countrymen. Let's hear from the man himself now.
OK, we're in the dressing room and we're watching Corrie Sanders, his corner, working on his fists and taping them up. Corrie, how much does this fight mean to you, and fighting at Wembley Arena?
It means a lot to me, you know. We're negotiating. I must beat Gary Lane, and Alex Stewart is my next fight, and probably then it looks like Michael Murder. So this means a lot to me.
We know that back home you're considered to be, well, probably the best heavyweight prospect the country's had for years. Is that correct?
That's what I say, yeah.
What's your ambitions then? If you're that good, what are your long-term ambitions?
To become a world heavyweight champion, to be one of the best like Ali.
And do you know anything about your opponent?
No, actually not. All I know, he fought Reddick Bowe, Ronaldo Snipes, Trevor Babik, so he knows what's boxing all about.
What's it mean to you to fight on the Lennox Lewis bill and at Wembley Arena? Is it your biggest night so far, do you think?
No, I wouldn't say so. You know, one of my biggest nights was Bert Cooper, who I beat, so no, I wouldn't say so. It means a lot to fight on a world championship card, especially heavyweights.
You're fighting in a little more than half an hour. Tell me, you're a typical boxer. Are you nervous? Are you frantic? Do you want to get me out of the room?
Yeah, every boxer is nervous, yeah. So
you want to get me out of the room?
Definitely.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see his face when he sees Garing Lane standing in front of him. As I say, an intriguing-looking boxer. So what we're going to do is find out after the break exactly whether Corrie Sanders can put those words into actions in a moment's time. Lennox and Oliver get it together real soon, but before that, more heavyweight action for you coming up first. Corrie Sanders of South Africa will be taking on Garing Lane from the States. Over back now to Barry and Simon, so see you later.
Thanks, Mark. And this is going to be some fight for Corrie Sanders, who's really rehabilitating himself after that bad win I was telling you about earlier against Nate Tubbs. That was in Sun City in May. And he was going along all right in the second round, seemed to be coasting at Corrie Sanders, and suddenly a big right hand. He was over, and Tubbs had won inside two, and it was devastating. After 22 successive wins, he was being built up as the big new prospect, and that was one heck of a blow.
Yeah, I mean, to being derailed like that in the prime of your career is really shattering. And I mean, he seemed to sort of just talk briefly about Garing Lane and say he knows a little bit about him, and that's it, basically. This guy's very dangerous fighter, and you'll probably see this here.
So here is Garing, 18 stone 12, just 5'10", and he's as wide as he is tall. Based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And there's his record. 12 wins, 5 inside the distance. This is his first time in the UK. A pro for 7 years. But very conscious that up against him is a man being scheduled towards a world title fight, and a good win here could change his career right in one night. Here's Corrie Sanders making his way to the ring. Corrie Sanders at 28, just 3 years younger, but a totally different build. 6'4", 16 stone, so he's being outweighed by 2 stone, 12 pounds. One win since that defeat at the hands of Nate Tubbs. That was against Carlos de Leon in Atlantic City 6 weeks ago, and he won it in 1 round. But he needs another win here to get on track again. Here's Mike Goodall for the announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with an international heavyweight contest of 10 3-minute rounds. Introducing in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks from Florida in the United States, would you please welcome Garing Freight Train Lane. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim from Pretoria in South Africa. A welcome, please, for Corrie Sanders. Your officials for this contest, the referee, Mr. Larry O'Connell, the timekeeper, Mr. Michael McCann. And this is 8 3-minute rounds.
In his corner there, the former welterweight contender, Harold Volbrecht. Here's Larry O'Connell. So Sanders outreaching him by 3 inches. His reach is 6 inches in height.
If you look at Lane, he doesn't look in tremendous condition. He's always been blubbery and overweight and always looked out of condition, and you get a lot of American heavyweights who actually look like this but are in surprisingly good condition. There's no doubt that this guy is a danger to Corrie Sanders. He's going to have to keep on his bike and keep out of harm's way, and because if he stands and trades with this guy, there's no doubt that Garing Lane can really bang hard.
Corrie said, speaking to him this morning, he said that he'll keep this at long range. He's not the greatest inside, and there's no reason for him to fight inside. He's got so many advantages over Garing Lane.
Yeah, he's working the body, which is good. You get a big solar plex like that, you just bang away at it, because that will put him in good stead. And if this fight goes into the late rounds, he can take the wind right out of Garing Lane's sails by working the body. A couple of good quality body shots in each round can really take your legs away as the fight goes on.
I have to say, with that body, it's difficult to miss.
Yes, indeed. Good body shot. He's a very agile big man for a heavyweight. Quick legs, very light legs has Corrie Sanders. Southpaw, of course, leading with the right hand. Moving to left and right, which is impressive. You can't allow Garing Lane to plant his feet, because if he does, this guy can punch, there's no doubt. He's got to keep him on the end of his long, snappy jab.
It's going to be very difficult for Lane to plant his feet and land, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the most difficult thing. When a guy's moving like that, you can't get your feet in position to punch with any power, so you're just pushing your arms out in front of you, really. Sanders is doing the right thing at the moment, boxing exceptionally well. Very straight and very upright, but quick hands for a heavyweight. And again, as I say, southpaw, difficult to pin down.
Good left cross as Lane came in.
Yes, and see, we tried the big left hook, Garing Lane, and went way over Sanders' head. Boxing very well. That's good. Nice quick punches like that. That's very good stuff. Just rattling off a quick combination and getting back on his bike using that snappy right jab. Impressive stuff from big Corrie Sanders in the first round.
Yes, we may have been keyed up beforehand, but you could see him visibly relax as that round went on. Just one defeat at the hands of Nate Tubbs. Otherwise, a long succession of very good victories, and he's been South African pro champion from July '91 when he KO'd Johnny DePlue, outpointed Johnny Nelson of Britain later that year. Here's Garing Lane. Comfortably lost that first round, but no real damage.
It's Conor Man telling Garing Lane to rough him up on the inside. The problem is this guy never stays in the one position for very long. He can't pin him down. He's walking after him. Good right hand all the same from Garing Lane, but he's walking after him, so he's not trying to cut the ring down and moving across the ring diagonally to stop Corrie Sanders moving around. He can't stand on the ropes like that. Sanders, quick combinations, get off the ropes. That's the right thing to do.
As I was speaking to Garing this morning, he was talking about the suspect chin that Sanders may have, and he said, we're going to find out exactly how suspect that is. He said, because I am going to land on it, and I'm going to land big.
This is a mistake from Sanders. He shouldn't be putting himself on the ropes like this, because Lane is going to lean on him and put that 19-stone weight on top of him. A good combination of the ropes by Corrie Sanders. It's good stuff from him. He's prepared to sit down and trade with Garing Lane now. I don't know whether that's so wise at this stage in the fight, but he's doing very impressive work right now. Oh, beautiful combination. You can see where speed is better than power in many, many cases. Keep the guy on the end of the jab. Don't give him the room to set his feet. Move to the left, move to the right. Just keep him, and don't let him do what he's doing now. When you have 19 stone dragging down on top of you, Simon, they can really pull the legs from underneath you.
And a second really good flurry as he comes off the ropes. He has got quick hands.
Very quick hands for a big man, but they were just little cuffing punches just to try and prize Garing Lane open for one quick straight punch. Again, he's leaning on the ropes. As I say, it's not such a good idea, but Lane hasn't been able to land anything really solid up to now. All the good work's coming from Corrie Sanders. And Lane's forcing him back to the ropes, but not throwing any punches at this stage.
There's good mobility, and the gum shields come out from Lane. Just a little surprised, and again being picked off here. Very strong finish to the second round from Corrie Sanders.
Yeah, but Lane looks composed in the ropes here. He's just taking it nice and cool and keeping his hands up and protecting himself. Good finish to the round from Corrie Sanders. Again, completely dominated the round.
Good knockout last year against Bert Cooper, and also had a KO last year against Levi Billups, who had gone a full 10 with Lennox Lewis.
Good straight left hand from Corrie Sanders. Teed off on Lane on the ropes.
So he can punch. Very good win that against Cooper, and Carlos de Leon went in one round just 6 weeks ago in Atlantic City. Next fight scheduled, should this be okay, to be against Alex Stewart on Guy Fawkes night. So 2 rounds emphatically to Corrie Sanders. Here's round 3.
Lane is becoming increasingly frustrated. He can't keep his hands down from his head. He's got to keep his hands up high. I don't think that Sanders has actually hurt him as yet, but he just can't pin him down, and he can't get anything clean on Sanders' chin.
So a familiar pattern, and Garing Lane not really able to land too much. Sanders seeming to land at will.
Yeah, when he's starting to slow down Sanders with these body shots, he's banging the occasional clean body shot through to the ribs of Sanders. And As I say, Sanders got nailed with a good little short right hook from Lane there. Every one of these shots, when a guy at 19 stones hitting you on the chin, you can feel him, I can tell you, despite the fact that he's not getting real leverage into it. But this is good work again from Sanders off the ropes.
Lovely left over the top. And they're telling him in the corner to pick his shots, Sanders.
Lane again crossing his feet, you see. When he moves to the left and then spins out to the right, Lane's he's coming at him square on, and the gum shield has just landed right into my lap here. So I'll hand it to Bob Meade, the stats man, who's going to throw it back into the ring. But again, Lane working away on Sanders with his back to the ropes.
Interesting, Bob Meade handed it to Harold to break the gum shield, and he threw it on the floor.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want...
It wasn't his man's gum
Lane to
shield.
get it.
Now, Lane's looking better here, and although Sanders is hitting him with, you know, quite a few punches, he's not hurting him and he's not deterring him.
He's very mobile for a big man.
Yeah, he's very quick and impressive. You know, he does things very straight upright and very much like the British style of boxing. But he's a big guy, he's quick, and he lands good punches.
So another good round. We're going for a break, back in a moment. So 3 convincing rounds for Corrie Sanders. But not really able to take anything out of Garing Lane so far, but he's accumulating the points at a rapid rate.
Yes, he's winning every round, but he hasn't quite hurt Garing Lane yet. There you go.
He said he's all right. He looks at his corner and said that was nothing. It was just a slip. But I think it might have been more than that.
Yes, he did half slip over, but he did catch him with a couple of good punches, and that will encourage Lane. Now he's got him on the ropes, and this guy can do damage, I'm telling you. He's a tough guy.
And now look at Corrie Sanders, stung into retaliation. And suddenly the fight comes alive. But he's got to be careful if he gets one more swing like that on his chin.
Absolutely right, Simon. He's got to be careful because this guy can really bang, and he's a very heavy hitter. It's a bit slow and a bit, difficult to pin Sanders down. But when he hits him with real power.
And of course, Garing Lane would have got so much confidence from that. He was getting no percentage success, and suddenly he was close to winning the fight.
And I have to hand it to Sanders. He's come back quite well. He was prepared to trade with Garing Lane in the centre of the ring. Bit of bravado there. But Lane has really come alive in this round.
Wants to have a gun shield put into Garing Lane's mouth.
Yes, it must be an ill-fitting gum shield because it landed in my lap and then came out again, so...
Yes, it's the third time it's been out.
You could have spent a bit of money on getting a better one. And here comes Corrie Sanders.
And Lane just grins at him as if he's enjoying soaking up the punishment. Good right, and that shook Sanders, and once again unpleasant moments for the South African. And he's getting through with 19 stones worth of power there.
Yeah, they're all taking their toll on Saunders, and his left eye is a little bit lumpy looking, and underneath the eye. And Garing Lane this is definitely a confidence-boosting round for him, despite the fact that Saunders is finishing well.
Saunders is hitting him with everything. Clean shots, jabs, left crosses, but Lane just keeps coming back for more and waits to land another big one. Well, that's a much better round for Garing Lane from Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And this has got the makings of a surprisingly good fight.
Yeah, well, if Corrie Saunders thought this guy was going to be easy, and he seemed to sort of overlook him a bit. Let's see what they're going to see in the corner.
You want this fight? You've got to take it from him. You can't take it from anybody else in this place.
Let's have a look at this knockdown again. He seemed to be sort of slide backwards a bit, there's no doubt about that. But he did land a glancing blow, and again, when he was on his way to hit him again.
And towards the end of a round, more flurries from Corrie Saunders, but Lane just walking through it. Into the 5th round then.
Yeah, Saunders realizes this guy is a tough cookie. Remain ever present in Saunders' face, right straight in front of him. Now he's working, he's got a real telling off in his corner. Garing Lane, come on, he said, you got to go and take it off him.
He's been the distance with some good guys. Ray Mercer back in Vegas in '89, and also in Atlantic City went the distance with Riddick Bowe.
Yeah, he's got a good chin. He's got a solid chin, and he's been in with some of the best fighters in the heavyweight division. And he's sparred a lot with Bowe. He's worked a lot in the gymnasium with him. And I know that Eddie Futz said that this guy, if he can get himself into condition, is a decent fighter.
It's a big if.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't turn him away from my table, I can tell you.
But he's not just been in with the best, he's beaten some of the best. He had a good win last year, the best win of his life, when he beat Alex Garcia. Beat him in the 3rd round.
Good left, good solid right jabs from Saunders. Smacking that jab out. Keeping on his bike, keeping on his toes, spinning out. That's good stuff from him. It's impressive. He's coming back into this fight. Seemed to lose it a bit in the last round, didn't he, Simon? He's coming back in now.
Yes, believes in himself, even when he was under the cosh there in the last round. It's a war of attrition as far as Garing Lane's concerned. Just trying to get the strength ebbing out of Corrie Saunders.
Yeah, I think he's grasped control of the fight again in this, the 5th round. But Lane is starting to blow a bit. He's starting to slow down. He's not been able to trap Corrie Saunders and slow him down, hit him with anything decent in this round. No, as I see it, he lands a good solid left hook.
Oh yes, and a good uppercut.
Yeah, reminiscent of Tyson there, right to the body, right hook to the body, followed by a right uppercut.
He's good inside, all right, Garing Lane. Saunders perhaps letting him get there a fraction too often. Closing seconds of the 5th round, and Saunders a little bit more on track now. But he knew this wasn't going to be easy. He knew that Garing Lane
You got him where you
was
want
going to
him.
make
You
him
got him
fight
where you
for it.
want him. You got him slow down, slow down.
A little bit of blood, as you can see, in Garing Lane's mouth.
Bang this way. He's covering up in the middle.
Where he's been soaking up those jabs and those left crosses.
Tell you, this kid can't take it. This kid can't take it. Move it. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, babe. The Rock gotta do it.
This kid can't take it, he's saying.
Yes, here's the Tyson-like uppercut, smashing uppercut, beautiful shot. Tried it again, right hand around the side and whipped it up the middle. It was an impressive work for him on the ropes, but he done too little in that round. He allowed Saunders to grab back the initiative.
Let's go, baby. Come on, kid. You gotta dig. You gotta dig.
He's got to dig deep. He sure has.
He sure has. In points, he's slipping way behind. We have him, I think, 4 rounds down. Both Barry and I agree on that. Into round 6. But we've seen he's got the ammunition. And one big punch from Garing Lane could switch this around totally.
Yeah, to lumber around that 19 stone, he's really taken a lot out of him. That's why he's not so quick. And of course, Saunders knows that. He's moving to the left, he's moving to the right, but he shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't be staying on the ropes. This is where he can be hurt. And this is where Garing Lane can really impose himself upon him. Yeah, keep it at long range, keep him on the outside. See the way they just bounce off Lane. No effect on him whatsoever. He's a very solid chin as Garing Lane.
Switching there. Switching occasionally from orthodox to southpaw, but mostly it's left hand forward.
See, when you keep a guy busy fending off your punches, he can't think about retaliating. So that's what he should be doing. Just keeping that right jab, doing what he's doing, keeping moving to the left, moving to the right. Should never stop, and certainly not stop when he's in the corner.
Lane's mouth now is wide open. He's sucking in air. He's still very much there, but he's taken an awful lot of punishment.
Yeah, he's more tired than Saunders. And you see Saunders talking to him against the rope here. He's got a very strong accent, Corrie Saunders. I'm sure Garing Lane doesn't understand a word he's saying.
He's the last South African. And the top flight heavyweight was Pierre Kurtzer.
That's right.
Looks a little bit more mobile than Kurtzer does, Saunders.
And there was Jerry Coetzee, of course. He was a pretty decent heavyweight. He was a champion for a very brief period of time.
So a quieter round.
And the pace has dropped here, but again, Lane trying to finish the round strong.
Another very good finish to the round from Corrie Saunders.
Yeah, very good flurry. That's going to win him the round.
No bother. Looking good for Saunders after the alarms of a couple of rounds ago.
Okay, you're doing all right. Put your head back. Put your hands. Give me the bottle of water.
And this will be a good confidence booster if he could come in unscathed here against a fighter who can really bang like Garing Lane.
Indeed, and he's boxing. I think he got it back together in this round. This is what he's doing best, and he's just there. He's employing exactly the right tactics. So he's forcing Garing Lane to go back, keep his hands up, and use that cross-arm defense. Those flicking fast right hands followed by quick left and a little hook, and then get on his bike, move out of to the left, to the right. But he can't afford to stand against the ropes because this guy can really hit hard, even at this tired state that he's in.
So, getting steamed up in the corner. 2 rounds to go. Corrie Saunders well on top. But always having to be totally aware of the possibility that Garing Lane can land one of these big clubbing hooks. Had a couple of fights this year, Garing Lane, outpointed by Larry Holmes, who's still going in Connecticut, and then beat a club fighter called Jack Johnson last month in Miami on points.
Lane has landed a couple of good shots in this round already, Simon, and Sanders again making the mistake of standing on the ropes. He really is, he's tempting fate here. That's stupid tactics and silly. You know, Lane is planting his feet. Look at that for a combination. Oof. Danger stuff from Sanders, and really suicidal kamikaze tactics. It's crazy. He should not be doing that.
You can see a trickle of blood now going down Sanders' right eye. Well, that was ridiculous, as you say. Now, what was interesting was he took those punches really well, but you can see the damage is there.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to do that. He's in line to fight for a title, you know. Crazy. Shouldn't be doing that with someone like Garing Lane, who can take you out with one shot.
There's another left hook right on that eye, and he won't come off.
Yeah. And again, he stays on the ropes and allows Garing Lane to whack away at him and just lean on him. And he's tired too, of course. It's not easy for a big man like this to box with those sort of tactics through the fight. That cut is getting very bad looking, Simon.
Yes, it is.
He's landed a good solid left hook on it again, as you said. It looks pretty rough at this stage. Fair amount of blood running down his cheek.
Just at the moment, the big plans for Corrie Sanders look to be a little awry. After Alex Stewart is scheduled, he wants to fight Michael Moorer for the WBA and IBF titles in March. I'll remember fighting Foreman a few weeks' time. But Sanders has him very much in mind, but those plans could go right out of the window with one more clubbing hook from Garing Lane.
Yeah, good finish to the round again from Sanders. This is what he should have been doing much earlier in the round. Always finishes, it's as if he's got a built-in clock. Finishes the last 15-20 seconds of the round really impressively. But he could have done without that cut.
It's been a tough, grueling battle. Another difficult round for him, but he came through it, not unscathed, but still way, way ahead. There you see them working away at that cut. And it can't really help his confidence. He goes into the final round. Have a quick look at what we think might have caused the cut.
Yeah, this is where Lane was leaning on him, and he landed some really solid punches here. Right hook around the side, and that's the left hook, a slicing left hook, and that most definitely is what caused the cut. You see the blood trickling out of the eye almost immediately.
And then another left hook about 30 seconds later.
Exactly,
to make it
it
worse.
right above our heads.
I fight, all right.
On the ropes, keep your hand.
Come on.
So the last round, 3 minutes to keep Lane away from him, to keep his plans going. But you can make sure that Lane's going to make it tough. On his toes now, Sanders. I doubt whether we're going to see him too much on the ropes, although straight away, look what happens.
Yeah, well, Lane knows he's well behind. He's got to win this fight by knockout. So he's got to go for broke here.
Lane saying that if he did win this fight, he said he wasn't recognized too much at home. He might stick around in Europe and see what came up.
Well, I can tell you, he'd be a tough cookie for any of the top heavyweights in the world. He's a strong, durable, hard-punching heavyweight. Whilst he looks out of condition, he's surprisingly fit. Now Sanders is doing exactly the right thing, keeping on the move, keeping out of harm's way. Can't afford to back up and put his backside on the ropes. He's got to keep moving.
Yes, I sense they were rather bravado tactics before, seeing how much he could soak up and showing Lane that he could take the punches, but no point in any bravado now. The money's on the line.
Well, again, he's just sitting right above our heads. Well, Lane's not doing too much, so he can afford to stand with him, spinning him out and getting on the back foot and snapping the jab out.
No real reward for Lane in this last round. Good straight right there, though. And now perhaps his last chance, see if he can follow this up. Looks such a good uppercutter.
Yeah, he's got a nice little uppercut with a right hook to the body. There's good work on the inside, but I'm afraid he's left it far too late, and he just hasn't been able to pin this guy down, and he's been soundly outpointed up to now. And unless he walks on to a silly punch, it looks very much like he's going to win this one, Corrie Sanders, by a wide points decision.
Again, his gum shield comes out. You can see him spitting blood. He's certainly taken more than his fair share of punishment. But what a game boy he is, Garing Lane. But I think the cause now is a hopeless one. Last few seconds.
It's a real spirited finish from Garing Lane, but I fear it's too late.
Yes, a grandstand finish from Garing Lane, but it's not enough. Corrie Sanders wins it, and he wins it well. Win number 25. And he must be feeling a lot better about the game now, because he's been in with fire there, Garing Lane. He may not be totally fit, far from it. But when he hits you, you stay hit.
You certainly do, I'll tell you. I have it for what it's worth. A 4 points advantage to Corrie Sanders. Oh, sorry, 4 rounds advantage. That's 2 points.
But after the nightmare of being beaten by Nate Tubbs in Sun City, 2 wins in a row now, and the fight scheduled in, what, 5 weeks' time against Alex Stewart.
O'Connell has scored the contest. Garing Lane 77 points. Corrie Sanders 79.5 points.
Well, 5 rounds difference, but no arguments at all. And Corrie Sanders back on track. Win number 25. And a good one it was too. Mark.
So there you go. The plan came together there for Corrie Sanders eventually. And perhaps Garing Lane should have laid off a Riddick Bowes Keep Fit video. OK, see you a little later on. After the break, we're preparing you for the big one. See you in a moment.